We are reviewing episode 3 of season 3, the final season of Star Trek Picard. And this is how it works. It's pretty simple, my friends. If we like something, we give it an upvote. We dislike something, we give it a downvote. And at the very end of the review, we're going to average that number and give you an official Popcast score. And for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, just to be clear, spoilers.
Oh yeah, we spoiling everything.
Yeah, we're going to go literally frame by frame. So when you see frame by frame review, spoilers. Every time.
Every time.
All right. Let's get into it. We're opening on this bald head guy.
We're opening on this bald
What's this guy's name again? Oh, yeah. Jean-Luc Picard.
Jean-Luc.
We got a quick super chat from Dustin Cole. I literally sat there at 1 a.m. with my jaw wide open when they revealed the changelings. I didn't see it coming. Yeah. It's great.
Neither did we when we first saw it. We're like, what?
Dude, when we first saw it, oh my God. I was stunned. I was shocked. I thought there was something sus about that one dude that he sizes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in a million years, I wouldn't have guessed changeling. Holy moly.
No, wasn't going for that at all.
Yeah. Really, really crazy. All right, guys. So we're opening up.
Great shot of the Shrike like attacking the Titan.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to play that, but yes, the Titan is they're being chased by the Shrike. They don't know why, but apparently the Shrike is able to catch them and find them all the time.
Yes.
And I love this. I love that the show opened up with the captain on the bridge. It's very Star Trek, and I'm going to open up with an upvote because this is just the beginning of how awesome Shaw is. So it's like, keep watching Shaw. He's a really great character.
Yeah, you do get those vestiges of like, okay, what's he all about? Well, we see he takes command here, which you need to see because in a lot of cases when Picard and Riker show up on bridges, they usually whoever's in charge is no longer in charge. So it was kind of nice to see that. And I would agree with an upvote here for Shaw.
All right, upvote for Shane.
I'm blown away how much people love Shaw. Like it's just Shaw love all over the place.
Right.
And you guys haven't even seen him yet.
You haven't even seen the best parts, yeah.
You haven't even seen the best part of him yet. And it's crazy how much kudos to Todd Stashwick for that. Just killed that role.
Yeah, the changeling goo did look different, and we're going to talk about that when we get to it. All right, and this shot of the ship, I like this. I can't even play it, but like, it's such a good shot of that over the way the camera pans over the top of the ship. It's beautiful. And of course, Vadek's back. All right, so they're being chased. They're being chased through the nebula, and they don't know how, but somehow, just to be clear, before we get into the Los Angeles thing, somehow the Shrike is able to detect them and find them everywhere they go.
Right.
All right. Now we're in Los Angeles in the past.
This is Los Angeles 2381. And it's funny because those are the buildings. When you go through Los Angeles now, you can see the Los Angeles, the Hollywood Hills back there behind it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, I worked there for a really long time. It's a horrible city. Yeah. It's disgusting. And in present day, Los Angeles is gross.
Horrible city. Well, yeah, no, Guinan told us all about that in season 2.
She wasn't lying. All right. Now the de-aging. Shane, you said you liked it.
Well, I didn't say I liked it. I said it was believable. Based on, listen, guys, this is one of the smallest budgeted science fiction TV shows ever. Mm-hmm. Probably right next to that show that's currently out right now on Sci-Fi Channel. What's that one?
The Ark?
The Ark, probably right next to the Ark. This is like $10 more per episode.
Sadly, I'm pretty sure the Ark is using like a Steam video game engine for all their graphics system.
Right. So like for the money they had to do this, they did a good job because obviously it can always be like, okay, so let's go with Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, right? In the one Avengers movie where he's up there on stage talking about his parents where they de-aged him. I'm like, okay, that's like the best de-aging. Okay. But this is like, when I started watching, I'm like, oh, Riker's younger.
Can I tell you the worst de-aging? Picard season 1, Data.
That is the worst. Did they even try to de-age him, or did they like just put him in makeup?
I think it was de-aging, but like his face was still like huge.
Right,
So
right.
bad.
It was scary. But so this is definitely, it looks like a younger Riker. So that I believe that it's before. So you can probably point out some things that aren't perfect. The biggest problem with Jean-Luc is that his face looks younger, but his voice doesn't.
His eyebrows, dude. His eyebrows need to be darker.
All right. I mean, I wasn't really going for that, but I mean, the face looks younger, but his voice sounds still like he's in his 90s.
That's true. It does.
And that's, you can't hide the voice.
Hello, Riker.
You can't hide that. But he does seem more virile, and they seem younger here. So I was okay with it. What did you think?
Yeah. It gets the point across. Like, the point of this is they're trying to tell a story, and they need to show this, like, this story is very important. Like, this moment where he explains the birth of his son and the 17 seconds and all that. That's all really important to stuff coming up. It's just not like fan service. It's not like they de-age just to de-age. But in order to show that they're having this awesome conversation at some point, so it plays into the present day, I mean, they're going to have to de-age him. I mean, you can't. I don't know if makeup is not enough at this point for Patrick Stewart. You got to use AI and computer graphics to get this guy to look a little bit younger.
Yeah, but you are right about the eyebrows. They should be darker.
Yeah. Brian Howard for $5. Jack said different groups came for them, and I thought changelings, and then I saw Troy scolding Riker in a clip. I wonder if that's also a changeling. I don't know. I don't know. I can't
so you
answer that.
thought, when you said different groups came, see, initially when we saw it, I didn't think they were all related. I figured they were just different groups being hired to hunt down Jack.
Right.
I didn't think changelings.
Yeah. When we first saw it, we thought that people, like, he had a bounty on his head, because specifically it said there's a bounty on his head.
Right. So we just believed it,
Right.
Of course.
All right. So this whole scene was good. I'm not upvoting the de-aging per se, but I'm gonna upvote. Huh?
I'm not gonna up or down vote it. Yeah.
I'm gonna upvote the scene though, because dude, Jonathan Frakes is just acting his butt off right now in this season.
I love their rapport. Like, I love how they talk to each other. This has been missing from Star Trek for so long. We need to see. Listen, we got 7 seasons of number one listening to his captain. But realistically, let me tell you what happens. I mean, I'm a guy who I was in the Navy. And after you're done, serving in certain capacities, you become close to the people you may have worked for or worked for you.
Right.
So this is nice.
Yeah, I agree. And then we go back to present day.
We should just real quick.
Go
So
ahead.
in that scene, we need to break the scene down. So this is the scene where basically Riker explains Thaddeus is just born, and now this is the son that died during Picard season 1. Okay, so Thaddeus is born here just before this scene, apparently,
Right.
or whatever months before they're meeting here, and he's telling the story about how when Thaddeus was born on the bridge, he got the call from medical that said you need to come down here quick. It took 17 seconds for him to get from the bridge down the turbo lift to sickbay. And in that 17 seconds, he realized it was the worst moment of his life.
Yep.
And it's at that moment that both him and Picard realized that Riker became a father in those 17 seconds.
Right.
And it's important because it plays to something later in the show. We get a couple of funny jokes here where Picard says, Thaddeus is in great hands. He has, wonderful parent, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Deanna will take good care of him. It's kind of a joke at Riker. So
yeah, this scene, like, personally spoke to me too. Like, so I have 2 daughters, and I have one daughter that when she was born with like a chronic heart condition. And I got a similar car. Like, I'm literally like, I was up for like 3 days straight during the birth, and I went home to sleep while my wife and my kids were sleeping. And then I got a call at like 1 a.m. saying you need to come down here, and with no context. and I'm rushing down there, and it's a horrible feeling. It is a disastrous feeling, not knowing what's wrong with your kid.
No, I actually had same thing. I was at work. I was working on the base at the time, and my youngest child was about, I want to say 3 months old. And I got a call from my wife saying that the paramedics are on the way. My son wasn't breathing, and she was at home with him. And so I had to get in my car and drive as fast as I could from work home. And it took about 7 to 10 minutes, and I couldn't get a hold of her on the phone because she had to stay on with the paramedics. And I literally had to drive all that way thinking that my infant couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Right. And thinking that basically he was going to die. So I completely understand what's happening here. It wasn't 17 seconds for me. It was like 7 to 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Which was just a long time.
A lot
and
longer.
Probably gave me some PTSD. So.
Yeah, and Deanna Troy, I can't play it, but Deanna Troy comes on and she tells him to get home and bring the whiskey.
Yeah, and bring the whiskey because I'm tired of taking care of this kid by myself. Yeah. And that's realistic too, by the way.
Deanna Troy, the everlasting lush.
What?
All right. Present day, we get this epic glamour shot of the Titan. God, it's a beautiful ship. And this creepy guy. Look at this dude. Great casting, by the way, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I saw him on Twitter. He's really excited. And I got to tell you, I know that he's going to take a lot of crap for being a bad guy here and being called creepy looking and all that stuff. But I got to tell him, he was so excited that this is like one of his first acting gigs, I guess, or, that he's actually being seen. And he has some moments. So really happy for him on Twitter.
I've seen this guy in a lot of things. What are you talking about?
You have?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, he acted like it. He finally got in front of a camera. So,
well, maybe it's the first time he's doing Star Trek. Maybe he's a Star Trek fan or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. All right. I mean, or he looks like someone else, like a doppelganger.
Yeah, he kind of looks like that guy from what was that show about the news reporter Candace Bergen played?
Oh, Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown. She kind of looks like the news guy that, not the guy who was always like her assistant or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember
his
name.
Guy.
Yeah, I guess he sort of looks like that. All right. All right. So once again, the Shrike is just like hunting these guys down. Like they just want to get out of the nebula, but everywhere they go, they're running into the Shrike because the Shrike is able to track them. And this is a constant. Now, this scene, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just want to add that it's going to be 2 hours before they're warp capable.
Right.
So they've been damaged enough so that they can't go to warp. Because a lot of people are going to be like, why didn't they just go to warp? Well, they were damaged and can't go to warp. So.
Right, and they can't go to warp inside the nebula either, right?
Right. That's right. Something about the nebula, they can't go to warp.
Yeah. So they got to get to the outskirts of the nebula. Very cool. Very Wrath of Khan, very submarine. Like very
Crimson
cool.
Tide, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just one more thing here. In this moment, before you get to Seven's quarters, you see something about Shaw that it's a characterization, a small one, but he dismisses these bridge officers because they've been on watch for a long time. So he's been kind of shown to us as being kind of this hard ass, right? Mm-hmm. But now you can see he has a lot of sympathy for the people that work for him. And so that empathy that now that starts to change his character a little bit.
Right.
And you can see his character starting to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. You know what? Chappie is right. That guy he played the genius in the first Fast and Furious movie.
Oh.
That's where I recognize him. Thank you, Chappie.
I mean, you are like hardcore Fast and Furious fans.
So. I am. I should have known. Dustin Cole, he's the computer nerd from Fast and Furious. Thank you for $5.
Oh,
and
thanks,
right.
Dustin.
Yeah. So he's been active for a while, dude. Fast and Furious is a whole movie.
I guess so. I don't know. He was pretty excited on Twitter about getting the role. So
yeah, maybe he just really wanted to be a changeling. All right. All right. Now we're with 7. Now 7 has been confined to quarters for what is the word?
Insubordination.
Insubordination. That's the word.
Before you get to 7 here, though, you see a die cut of the US. There it is, right there. The die cut of the USS Voyager, and it's nice because it's part of her history. So we should see something like that in our quarters.
Yeah, I'm gonna upvote that just because I want one. Like
I'll upvote that Roddenberry.
Yeah, it has a sweet Roddenberry. All right, she gets a knock at the door, and it is Sydney LaForge, just checking up on her first officer or lieutenant or commander or whatever.
Her XO, yeah.
Her XO, and I'm gonna paraphrase here, but she says some very nice things. She says that she understands how Seven feels because she felt the same way because her dad's like this legendary.
Oh, really, Sydney? So the Borg took you away,
right,
from birth, and then you were rescued by the Federation, and you know how it feels to go from not being human to human, huh, Sydney? Right. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm being too hard on the young lady.
You're right. She's just trying to be helpful, but and I appreciate that, Sydney, but her situation really isn't like Seven's situation.
It's not at all like
not at all.
But it's a moment where you're trying to here's what they really wanted to do. Is they wanted to give 7 of 9 an ally.
Right.
On the ship, which makes sense. She ends up calling her Commander 7, which seems to brighten 7's demeanor.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's nice of her. And she does. She calls her 7 of 9, and she also says that her dad wouldn't have gotten mad at her for insubordination, but
right. She's like, "Who's your dad?" Sorry.
Listen, if LaForge was my dad, I'd be name dropping him too, bro. Kidding me?
I'd be like, my dad.
Yeah. My dad, LaForge.
Greatest engineer.
The legendary LaForge. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. All right, so we're in the medical bay. This is one of those clips that were like haunting me earlier. So, this is what is she?
She's now my least favorite medical officer.
Yeah, but what species? Betazoid? No.
Yeah.
Bajoran?
I can barely see. No, she's Betazoid. It looks like it with the tattoos on her. I can barely see through your little screenshot.
Yeah, it's Betazoid, like what Dax was in DS9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like super rude for like no reason. Like,
I got to tell you, it's a weird alien to have on your ship because there's so much to a Betazoid. Not a Betazoid. It's not a Betazoid.
Oh.
Why am I saying that's Deanna Troy's?
Right. I have to them. Someone tell me what it is. Trill. No. It's Trill. It's Trill. Thank you guys. Thank you. Trill.
So the problem with the Trill, you know why we're blocking out Trill? Because Discovery made us.
Discovery ruined the Trill. I forgot about that.
They didn't ruin them, but they definitely made it.
Dude, they made it real weird and unscientific and
it was weird.
It's real weird.
But this character, it's always hard because when you see a Trill, you think, oh, well, this person has a symbiote. And so there's just so much more to the character than you realize. And so you want to know more about that character. Well, this symbiote, no matter how many lifetimes they've lived, they're an asshole. So she was totally rude to Beverly here, saying it would take me longer to teach you than just to do it myself. And very rude. Did not like
it. But here's the deal. That's a weird statement because it's not like it's Discovery going 989 years into the future.
No, it was kind of weird.
It's like she didn't travel into the future. She's just a little older.
Yeah, I mean it's been 20 years, I guess.
But she hasn't freshened up on any medical textbooks in 20 years, I guess.
I'm sure she has, but it does seem kind of weird. It's kind of a weird thing to throw in here, and I'm just not sure what the purpose was, other than the purpose might have been to show Jack's protection of his mom. Maybe that's why they put it in, because he jumps in there and he starts getting,
Yes, I think it was for that. I think it was for that. It was to show how much he loves his mom.
And I think that's important because they haven't established the relationship between these two characters yet. We've seen very little about it, and we need to see that there's this mother-son bond here, or else then it doesn't become very believable. So they tried to use it in that way, and that's fine. But I will say that she definitely, this poor actress here is man, everybody's going to hate me for dressing down Dr. Crusher.
Here's the deal, though. Anthony, you're right. Geordi did the same thing to Scotty, but Scotty didn't just get a little older. he was stuck in a transport loop on that Dyson sphere, right? For like 80 years.
And you got to remember, Geordi was trying to placate him. So you got to remember from
Right.
that episode, like Geordi's like trying to placate Scotty, and he's like, this, and trying to be gentle about it. And finally, but Mr. Scott, he's like, he's going to break in, he's going to do Scotty things. And so finally, Geordi had to be like, hey, and that was the difference. Here, this is like the first communication between these two people, and she's like smacking her around. So,
and again, she didn't time travel. She's not 100 years older. She's 22 years older. I mean, last time she was on active duty.
Well, if she learned no new medicine in 20 years, I mean, that is a long time. But you still know how to use a tricorder. You still know how to,
Again, though, like, I don't know if it's the same. Like, Scotty was stuck in a transport loop. All right. But yeah, I guess he was also, you're right. I think you're right. I think Geordi was just trying to placate him. And
he was. Yeah.
Scotty will not be placated. Damn it.
Well, he didn't want, and it was a great episode about like, getting older and being irrelevant. And, the last time he was around, he was very relevant.
How about that weird paradox that the reason they have transparent aluminum is because Scotty gave him transparent aluminum in the 80s.
That's great. That's great. I love it.
Like no one, that's a paradox that no one's figured out yet. So clearly it's a weird writing loop, but it's cool.
I mean, other than like, it's all make-believe, but yeah, totally.
I understand it's make-believe. but I mean,
we're not,
the point of this is we're trying to make sense of all Star Trek. Right. You're the guy who literally wrote theories just trying to explain how Discovery exists. not how it actually operates, just how the ship exists.
You mean the floating nacelles? Yeah, I got you.
The floating nacelles. Oh God, we gotta stop talking about Discovery, man.
Sorry,
it's funny how you're like this make believe, but you've made like hour-long videos, literally just theorizing about how the new Trek can come into be. Like
in all fairness, you forced me to, but yeah,
I did force you. I did. That's true. I did. I enjoyed every goddamn minute.
I am your slave. All right, keep going.
All right. So Picard comes down and looks, hey, Dr. Crusher, you got some explaining to do.
This was really uncomfortable. They played this off really well. It's like, uh-oh.
Look at that face, though, right?
Oh, you see it. He did a great job. Like
Beverly.
Beverly, I'd like a word.
Beverly.
Riker's like, hey, kid, why don't we go do something else while these two have a fight? All right.
Beverly. Yeah. All right. So, I'm not going to recap the entire conversation, but I'll tell you this.
Oh, I will.
Oh, you want to recap? Okay, you go ahead, and I'll share my thoughts.
Wait, you play. No, you play.
Jean-Luc Picard.
You have to play Jean-Luc Picard because obviously you got the voice better.
I'll be Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay, and I'll be Beverly Crusher.
Beverly.
Jean-Luc.
I don't want to do this anymore. It's weird. Look, so he wants to know why he doesn't know about his kid. And her explanation is, your life is dangerous. I tried to tell you. There was always some other crisis around the corner. Some of the crisis that she explained was hilarious. Like he was taken at gunpoint by whatever.
They were pretty funny. Like bombs going off at his side. Like,
right.
Like all kinds of really dangerous things that really probably didn't happen during TNG.
Apparently, like he was so active that she only had like a total or accumulated 9 days in which she could have possibly have told him about his child.
But he called her on it. I love that. Like
over 25 years or 22 years.
You know what I love about it? He takes no shit from her on this.
He doesn't.
Like,
You're right.
In previous Star Trek shows, he would be kowtowing. He'd have his tail between his legs as he's being properly reprimanded by the woman in the room. Okay. And in this case, he gives it right back to her. And you know what's cool? They go back and forth, and you kind of agree with each one of them as they talk.
Yeah.
I
see both their points. Point of view.
Yep. And I'm going to upvote this scene because this is a great scene.
Yeah. Great.
People needed to know why Beverly wouldn't tell Jean-Luc he had a kid. Like, and right. I mean, telling you for a week, all I heard people would say, there is no good reason. There is no good reason. And you know what? At the end of this scene, you're right. In the end, she made a mistake. She should have told him.
Right.
But you can understand why she didn't, even though now looking back at it, it was the wrong choice.
Well, that line when she goes like, I knew I can protect my kid. I didn't know if I can protect yours.
Right.
Because people are always gunning for Picard.
Yeah. And here's what's funny is she made an assumption, right? This is interesting because the Picard says something great. He goes, how do you made the choice for me? How do you know what I would have done had I known I had a kid? You know, and you told me you were worried about his life being in danger or whatever. You know, he might have given it up.
Mm-hmm.
What could have been? I could have been a father. I could have been a husband, right? Dude, I mean, it's just like emotionally wrecking me.
Yeah, when he goes, how dare you take that from me? How dare you, Beverly?
Right. Yeah. And then, dude, it is not over. Even when you think it's over, like they go to a scene with Riker and Jack and like they do the whole thing. But then he comes back and he's like, you know,
I'm not done with you, Beverly.
Dude, don't you think that Jack and I deserved a chance? You know, and then we learn, which is really important, and you'll want to know this, is that she told him about Jean-Luc.
Yes, she told him about Jean-Luc, and he didn't want. And she said what she said was he didn't want anything to do with him.
Right. She encouraged him to search him out, but he didn't want to have anything to do with him, which you know is an important point moving forward.
Look at that disapproving look right there, Beverly. Not now, Doctor. I always think whenever they interact, I think of that one scene where they were like super horny for each other because of some kind of.
Well, it wasn't him.
No, you know, he was under the same effects. He was just controlling it better.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So they were all under like these super horny, this horny thing. I forgot a virus or something made him really horny, and she was like, "Captain, I need to see you in my room right away." And she walks in there, and he's like, he looks around. He's like,
"I love.
What do you need, Doctor?" And she's just like coming on him. He's like, he gets real close. He goes.
I love those clips. You've been playing those clips on our video.
Not now, Doctor.
Just hilarious.
But Captain, not now, Doctor. It's the best thing. That whole scene is like a masterclass of subtle comedy because his little like grunts and moans where he's trying to control himself and keep his dignity, but he clearly is having a hard time keeping control of himself. It's great.
Dude, when you cut that up just right, when you do shortcuts and edits, it really looks a little disgusting.
Yeah. I did that on purpose.
It looks a little dirty.
When he's like,
and
she's like, ooh.
I don't know. It's the video. If you guys haven't seen it yet. So if you guys want to know, like, because they don't explain exactly.
The Naked Now. That's what it's called. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, it's The Naked Now. And
they don't explain exactly. Like they explain what happened here. So they were on 2 months before she left the Enterprise. They got together during a shore leave, and that's when they conceived Jack. So we actually did a whole video before this week came out, kind of talking about when he could have possibly been. And during that video, Brian puts a bunch of these weird edits.
I put as many. I found like every possible clip of them just being horny for each other. or horny in general to put it in. This is the only way I can enjoy, editing for 22 hours straight, is if I get to inject weird horny stuff into the video. Just so everyone's complaining about it. Okay,
softcore porn, basically.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, this is my signature. My signature is a little creepy. Put a little creepy on it, and that's the Brian signature. Okay.
A little creepy, kind of like our crewman that's wandering around the ship as a changeling.
Yeah. By the way, someone said even Data got horned up in that thing. Notice that the only person in the Naked Now that didn't get horned up was Worf. So either he was immune, or he was afraid he was going to murder someone if he lost control.
They didn't want to write that into the scene. Oh no, Klingons not going to happen because they'll end up. They kill people when they have sex. I do not want to kill. I mean, there were so many jokes about Worf killing people.
Yeah. In case you guys forgot, it is now canon that Klingons have 2 male appendages.
Dude, you will never let anybody forget that. Do you know how many times you brought that
let
up?
me be clear. The only thing that Discovery ever added to canon that has any value is giving Worf two penises.
Right. Yeah.
Because that adds up all kinds of questions.
It does. It explains so many things.
Worf was with a lot of chicks, okay? And you're like, damn,
Now we
Jadzia.
know why.
Damn.
Now we know why.
Now I know why. Get it, girl. Yeah. All right. We got so off
We
topic.
got really off here.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
No, I blame you.
Look at that face he's making right there.
He's like, oh,
No, Brian, not another creepy clip. Oh.
no more.
Yeah, you're right. They really do argue it all a long time. Listen, I see both their points. Obviously, she made a mistake, but that last line that she gave when she said, like, I just want to protect my kid, and I don't think I could have protected yours. That is a good line because his life is full of adventure. People constantly trying to murder him. They cloned an entire person just to find this guy. Picard,
Like right around the time they did it. Yeah.
right. Jean-Luc Picard is he's a dangerous guy, not because he's dangerous, but because if you're around him by proxy, you're in danger. That's just the way it is. I get it.
Yeah. So we understand why she made the choice, but she still should have given him the choice.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because she could have been like, look, if you don't want to leave this life, yeah, I'm just going to take him and keep him.
Yeah.
But she wasn't thinking like that. So
I like what Joy said. I think she made the right mistake.
okay.
And Dave Cohen, detached warps nacelles. The end.
Oh yeah, Dave.
Two penises and detached warp nacelles. That is the legacy that is
No.
Star Trek Discovery.
No, and also a crying Kelpian that pretty much destroyed.
Wait. You're missing something. The fact that the ship identifies sexually and needs a therapist. The ship. Jesus.
Well, for those of you wondering, the Discovery season 5 will be the final season of Discovery. It was announced during this live stream. Just came out.
God.
So that will be the end, and that's going to go along. You guys want to stay tuned until later because we're going to be talking about Paramount having money problems and what does this mean for Star Trek stuff going forward, because we know things that are happening on the inside that might be a little bit weird for Star Trek. So
yeah, there's projects that haven't been announced yet that we're aware of that we don't know how it happens if they don't have any money. But I totally understand, and we'll get to this. We understand why Discovery is being canceled. It's too expensive regardless. Like, it's bad and it's expensive. Jeez.
yeah, well, somebody I watched, who was I watching earlier, said that they got like 80,000 people watching it every episode or something. I mean, it's more than that, obviously, but not enough to pay for a $10 million an episode show.
Listen, if we're getting more views than Star Trek Discovery, then something's wrong. That's all I'm saying.
We're not, but it was funny to say.
Yeah, so this was a cool moment too. Like, so Riker's basically trying to talk up his old man,
Yeah.
And Jack is not buying it. And
a little bit. He's kind of buying into it a little bit.
But he says that line though. It's like, legends never live up to the hype, basically.
Right. Which is foreshadowing. But also, I love the line Riker says.
Did you say it's foreshadowing?
What's that?
Did we switch places this stream or what?
No, it's foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm, okay.
I mean, that really doesn't say anything, I don't think.
All right.
Do you think it gives away anything?
I'm just being super careful because I'm tired of getting yelled at after the stream.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So foreshadowing means yes. But I don't think that, like, when you show some guy and you're like, oh, pay attention to that guy, that's a lot different.
Guys, that guy right there. Don't take your eyes off of him.
That guy, yeah.
By the way, look at that guy.
By the way, the guy who's now a changeling.
The guy who's now a changeling. I did. I realized after the fact that was a mistake. But okay. At least I didn't say changeling.
Right. That's what.
Or write a whole article about it.
That's true. Now, my favorite line from this little scene right here is when Riker tells him, you can feel free to call me Captain.
Yeah.
And I just love that they just layer in the professionalism every time when you're like, oh, they're going to be buddies. That's not what Star Trek is about,
Yeah.
right? There's structure and there's rank and I love that Riker's always bringing it back to that, separation of feelings a little
If
bit.
this was Discovery, they would have made out by now.
Can you imagine if they made Riker gay?
Oh my
Can you imagine
god!
he left Deanna so he could be with Picard's son Jack,
Jack Crusher.
Jack Crusher, and Riker.
Oh
Come
my
on,
god!
man.
Oh, there's so many people's heads would just explode on like live stream.
There would be mass suicide across the Star Trek universe.
Gary would just start the stream like this.
And his head would explode, right?
You see his veins just pulsating.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it's
Okay,
great.
enough fun. You've had too much liquid meth.
Bro, this stuff is crazy. And knowing that I'm going to spend like the next 6 hours probably trying to fix that video, I got to laugh, bro, because if I don't laugh, I can only cry.
Okay, then laugh away.
All right.
Away, my friend.
By the way, I'm upvoting Jack because damn it, I love Jack, dude. I'm loving this character more and more. And here's the deal. If you are starting to like Jack Crusher, you haven't seen nothing yet. Just like if you like Shaw, you haven't seen nothing yet. Like
It's true. Yeah, we're still building.
These characters get better and better and better.
Yeah. Good call.
Sam, don't give him ideas.
Sorry, we should not speak things into existence.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Imagine if that happened. I would just uninstall my channel. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
The two things that you clipped it when it went bloop bloop, like the two things was like, right. Look at him. Look at the way he's looking at him.
Hey, Jack. How you doing?
Hey, come on over here, buddy.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
hey,
wait, not a good look.
Hey, Uncle Riker. Jesus, even creepier when I say Uncle. I'm so sorry.
So disturbing.
I'm so sorry.
Back on the bridge.
Yeah, back on. No, we're not. No, we're back with Beverly.
This is the moment when he does the whole like, didn't we deserve a chance?
Yeah, that's true. And it was a good line. Good line. I'm not making fun of it. That was a great line. This whole scene, by the way, was great.
Yeah.
And by the way, everything we're making fun of is like Discovery because everything in this show so far is rock solid.
Yeah.
This was a long scene, though. I didn't realize
It's unresolved, though. When Picard learns that his son didn't want to have anything to do with him, even after he found out about him, something happens to him here. If you notice, he looks at him funny. He kind of looks away, can't really look at him. And then he takes off in the scene. And Riker, Picard immediately wants to throw himself into the danger that they're in, which is probably the right thing to do. I mean, you're literally in a life or death situation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. This is not the time to talk about our feelings. We're being hunted in an unknown nebula by a crazy chain smoker with a weapon that we've never seen before. Of course.
Right. And we complained a lot about Discovery spending all their time like in the middle of battle or the middle of like dangerous situations, just talking about their feelings. So it was cool to see Picard like say, we're going to get out of this. Now, Riker tried to do the whole thing. Well, you need to talk to him. And he's like, it's done deal. It's done. He don't want to have nothing to do with me. So at this point in Picard's mind, he's kind of given up that anything can possibly happen here between him and his new son. Yeah,
the way he walks by him and just sort of dismisses him.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Mm-hmm. That was good. It's good. This whole thing was good. Although,
upvote that the fact that we get back to business instead of sit here and cry in the corridor the whole episode.
Bro, I forgot to mention, and this is where like the retroactive upvotes are going to happen. I'm not going to actually display retroactive upvotes, but remember there was things that we talked about in episode 1 and 2 that we couldn't talk about until we got reveals, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the first episode, when Jack thinks he's going to die and he looks up Picard and he goes, "It was really nice meeting you."
Yeah. Well, so now we know that was because it was his father.
Like that was, and Picard just, he did not knowing anything. He just sort of wrote it off as, all right, yeah, cool, man. Nice meeting you too. But the way he said it now, knowing that he's his son and all this baggage that exists, like that is right. That is crazy.
Well, he thought maybe they were going to die, so that also kind of gives you a hint as to maybe how Jack really feels deep inside.
Because Jack knows that he's his kid.
Yes, Jack knew.
All right, so that's what makes it more powerful to me.
Yeah, looking back on it now, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. What a moment. Okay. I'm loving Ed Speleers. I even started watching that stupid show that he's in. The one with the sword. What's it called? The guy with the sword. He's Irish or something. Oh, Highlander.
He's in Highlander?
He's in Highlander, yeah.
You know, he was in Aragon, that kid's book about the dragons.
Yeah, that's right.
He was the main character.
I did not like that movie.
It was okay. The book was way better.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie at all.
It's like I did not like that movie at all.
No, I actually I think I actively disliked it.
It wasn't that bad.
Maybe age gives you, obviously age, wisdom, right?
I don't think he was the problem in that movie, anyways.
All right.
So,
okay, so back to business. They go on the bridge and they're like, Shaw. I'm gonna stop doing Picard's voice. Shaw. Shaw's look how stressed out he is.
Things aren't going well.
The
villain is smoking on her bridge. Things are not going well.
They walk in there, he's just like, people fighting us. He's talking to himself. He's stressing out right now. And they're down there just having like a heart to heart. And he's like, I can't keep this ship together. It just goes to show how much like their actions. The reason he's in this mess is because the two people just walk on that bridge.
That's true.
Remember that. So every action he has after here, the reason he's in this mess is because of these two guys and what they decided to do. So don't criticize his candor when, from his perspective, he's only in this mess because of these two guys.
I don't think they will. I mean, the candor is good. Also, one thing from Beverly that we missed earlier is she does explain to Picard. He asks her, why Vadic is after them, and she says she thinks that she knows he's going after Jack, but she feels like has something to do with him. So that's as writers, we don't put things in unless we want you to put them in. So just note that.
Are you saying foreshadowing?
No, I would just say okay. One thing I hate about TV shows is when they give us useless information.
Oh yeah.
And knowing that, and we've already told you, there's no useless information in this show.
Right.
So everything everybody says has a point. So we have to look at it like that. And if you're a smart person, which all of our viewers are for sure.
Yeah.
When you hear her say that, well, that's obviously a signal. So there you go.
Yeah. So just a reminder, Terry Matalas, who wrote this, also wrote 12 Monkeys, which is one of the most well-written, intricate time travel TV series ever made. It is, most people agree that the way it was put together, the way he hyperlinked, he connected everything across timelines, across seasons, things that he said in the first episode of 12 Monkeys had bearing in the last episode of 12 Monkeys. You have to understand that.
Right.
This guy, he's an excellent writer. He connects everything so that by the time you're done with this epic tale, you have such an appreciation for everything you already saw. So just remember that when you watch this. There's nothing useless going on. Terry Matalas doesn't do useless. He doesn't just throw random things out there for fun. There's a purpose for everything.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that we need to recognize that, Jonathan Frakes was just on the after show, the Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton after show, After Trek or whatever. And when he asked, how did you guys put all this together? Because Frakes directed episode 3. He goes, I just watched episodes 1 through 4 all together for the first time. This is Frakes telling Will. And he said, I watch it all and I'm just blown away by it. And Will says, well, how did you guys do that? And you know what Frakes says? He goes, Terry Matalas. That's how we did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the amount of overwhelming positive love that this crew, all of the actors, they always say it's Terry Matalas. It's Terry Matalas.
Yeah.
Like everybody's throwing credit every time somebody says you guys are amazing. Like it's Terry Matalas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same broken
literally
record.
every time, every interview we've ever seen, they constantly give credit to Terry Matalas. And so,
Right.
you guys,
And
by the way, actors are most actors have, at the very least, a streak of narcissism in them, right? That's like sort of their gig. The fact that every one of these actors are constantly giving Terry Matalas credit for something that they're being complimented on is huge.
Right. And what it shows you is that there is a genuine, so when Terry is doing his stuff here, there's a genuine love and care when he's writing for these characters and when he's working with these actors, and those actors feel that back. That's why you get this. Whenever you hear about somebody like James Gunn, kind of gets the same thing from, he's got mad loyalty from the people that work for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you get directors like that and showrunners and writers and stuff like that, you got magic going on and need to hold on to that. So hopefully we get a lot more of this in the future.
And this is why a lot of writers and directors and like actors like that work well together. They do, like, a lot of them like to stick it out. Like, you have like crews of people, even if they make bad movies, they just sort of make movies together. Like they enjoy making movies together. Terry Matalas likes to take people from, when he makes a connection with someone and you can tell it doesn't work, he brings them to the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
Like Jerry Ryan was, when he helped produce that MacGyver crap. And that's where he met Jerry Ryan. It's like Jerry Ryan, that was a big part of him doing Star Trek.
He met her on Voyager originally.
No, but yeah, he reconnected though when she played that role as MacGyver's aunt or whatever.
Yes, they reconnected there, became closer. Yeah,
right.
And now, of course, it leads to Picard. So
rock and roll. Yeah, a lot of respect amongst these people. All right. Okay, and so tragedy strikes. Uh-oh. Can I ask you a question? Why don't starships have seatbelts?
that is the old adage. Because if they had seatbelts, then we wouldn't have these great scenes where people went flying around the bridge. It's the same people that complain about, okay, because right now everybody said, "Why?" Great question, right? Why wouldn't you do that? Like, because people will get hurt. But it's the same thing where people ask questions like, well, why didn't they know they were changelings? They could have just, when they transported on board, they should have known immediately they were changelings. The problem is you're right. In the future, we could probably figure out every solution to every problem. But if we knew the solution to every problem,
there would be a story.
There would be no story. There'd be no drama.
And just so you guys know, there is an answer for the changeling thing too. Like, keep watching. Keep watching. Terry Matalas isn't dumb. Okay,
I'm just saying these are like, there's little things. There's like people who like point out these small things. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, it's fun to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying,
that's what we do.
Why don't they have seatbelts? But hopefully, in the back of your mind, you're saying, come on, why don't they have seatbelts? And you're not saying, why don't they have seatbelts? Like, there's two totally different. Like, why don't they have seatbelts? Why don't they have seatbelts? The people are going, why don't they have seatbelts? Those guys, you guys, hopefully none of you guys, but the people who do that, just sit back and enjoy the ride a little bit.
Yeah, so you're right. I agree with you. So Shaw gets hurt. He gets hurt. Damn it.
He got hurt pretty bad, too.
Captain Shaw is quite injured. And he looks at Riker and he says, "You got us into this mess. You're going to get us out."
He's got like a bone sticking out of his leg.
He has a bone sticking out of his leg. He's like, "You're going to get us out of this mess." And he goes, ship or whatever, authorize sumption tomato basil soup. Make Riker the captain, basically.
Yeah.
And
then the ship says back, he was just the captain recently. We're good.
We're good to go, bud. And what's funny is, he literally has a bone. Look at that. He's
standing up with a bone sticking out.
Like, come on,
lay down, man.
Yeah. Look, there's a bone sticking out of his leg. A piece of the bone. It's crazy.
Look at the look on Frank's.
He's like, holy
crap! You got a bone sticking out of your leg. Unload the bone sticking out of the leg. Please.
Someone get this guy to sick bay.
He's like, that moment where he's like, I'm a captain again. I'm in charge. He felt that in his stomach. He's like, even though Shaw's like hurt.
Right. He's like, oh yes,
because he immediately takes charge, dude. He don't waste a second. He's like, once he's like out of here, he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, immediately he sits down. And Picard sits next to him in the spot normally reserved for number one, and then he has that line. That was
I love that
great
joke.
line.
He's like, I think it's time for you to call me number one.
And the face he made too, he's like, number one. He has like this sort of sarcastic look on his face. I mean, dude, Patrick Stewart still brings the heat, man. You know what's crazy is Patrick Stewart in this season is like peak Patrick Stewart. When
Yeah.
in other seasons, in season 1 and season 2, I just felt like he was just.
Yeah,
was he just drunk the whole time? Like what?
No, because sword sharpens sword, man. And when these characters came back, here's what I think. I mean, I think that part of seasons 1 and 2 was really okay. He's like the character's older, the character's more like me, and I think he allowed too much Patrick Stewart to slide into Picard. And then this episode, having his crew around him, he realized I think he was able to delve deeper back into character and actually be Picard again because he was surrounded by the people who he was Picard around in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I think you're right. And these faces that he makes, like when he sees Beverly down there, that disappointed, disapproving face, like you buy it immediately.
I mean, that's his face, dude. Like 7 seasons of TNG, 95% of the time, his face is disappointed.
Well, but even now, like when he makes that joke and he has like that little like glimmer in his eye and he turns away, like that's acting. We didn't see that in season 1 and season 2. We saw Picard. A guy reading lines. That's it.
Right. That's Picard. That's who Picard is.
Right.
That twinkle.
The twinkle, yeah, like you see life. There's life in that soulless robotic brain. Sorry,
my headcanon just dismisses that. By the way,
it was funny though. Like even Jack was like, "Oh, I heard it was a positronic now, huh?"
They make some jokes at it. I mean,
yeah, it was funny because like that was like I feel like that was the writers being like, "God, that was such a stupid idea. Let's just make fun of it right now."
Hey, Michael Chabon, Akiva, listen, guys. I just don't know why you did that. Like, honestly, why give him a robot body?
Makes no sense.
And then have him be the exact same age. And then, like, what was the point?
Right.
Like, listen, here's the lesson. God. If you write shit like that, like ever write shit like that again, stop. Surround yourself with people who won't stick their nose up your butt, and then go back and rewrite it.
Right.
We'll wait. We'll wait because that was shit. That was terrible.
You're right. See, iron sharpens iron, and this is the problem. You have Terry Metalis working with people as a team, and they're like, what does he say in all the interviews? Like, if you guys watch our reviews at the end, there's interviews. He talks about his partners in the writing room, throwing tossing ideas around. It was a team effort, right? Like maybe he masterminded everything, but there was a team effort there. So that means that I'm pretty sure that if he had a bad idea, someone's like, I don't know about that, bud. And they can go back and forth. Like iron sharpens iron. Like the actors, they appreciate him because they worked with him. They didn't work for him, right?
Right.
So the thing about Akiva and Michael Chabon, though, you're not telling Michael Chabon, award-winning writer, like, you know what I mean? I mean, he won awards for some like Sundance,
No, he's actually.
I don't know, dude. I don't even know. But what I'm saying is like, how are you going to tell someone who was clearly acclaimed, whether it's deserved or not, that they're wrong if they don't have the attitude where he can accept criticism?
Right. Well, or if you don't even know if they're giving criticism. I mean, this is the way I envision the season 1 writing room. Hey, what do you guys think about Picard? We just turn him into a robot. We'll get it there. And everybody's like, oh, okay. Inside they're going, that's fucking stupid. But, everybody wants a job, so they're like, yeah, Michael looks sound good to me.
Yeah, it can work. It can work.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
No, that's that thing you do where you don't want to commit to like saying it's a good idea. You go, you know what? I can see that.
I mean, we've all been in these situations where we just don't really care enough.
Right.
The problem is you got to have somebody in the writer's room who's willing to who's willing to die on that hill.
Right.
Be like, hey, listen, Mr. Chabon, look, I know that I'm just getting your coffee, but I've been watching Star Trek for 35 years, and that's the craziest damn thing I've ever heard. Please don't do that, sir. Please
don't do that, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, sir, please don't, sir. What's funny is when that was introduced, like, did you not think right away, oh, they're going to replace Picard with a younger actor.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Yeah. Oh, this is the end of Picard. All right.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. But they,
I mean, if we were going to do it,
I mean, if you need to replace them, I guess that is a reasonable explanation on how you replace them, right?
Yeah, if you wanted like a younger Picard, which by the way, I don't think would have been a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea, but if you want to go that route, this is like a sci-fi way of doing it, right?
100%. Yeah,
but to do it and not replace them,
to replace them with the exact same
thing.
Right.
It was literally, you made him a robot to cure a disease in the 24th century.
I know.
Like it's such a weird roundabout way of curing someone of it. So
well,
weird.
we have to remember the whole season was about, treating synthetics bad. Once again, when you get away from telling a Star Trek story properly and you're telling a different story instead about how we treat people who are on the outside, wonder what that was about, right? Wonder what that was about. This when you end up with garbage at the end,
right?
I mean, sorry.
Clearly, they were talking about cell phones, Shane. Okay.
That was season 2, bro.
Chat
What's it, a cell phone? Looks like a communicator.
That's right. That's it. Oh my God. I don't know why we're talking about this right now, but do you remember, wasn't there like this weird, like random device that did whatever they needed to do?
Yes. That was the on board Cristobal ship.
What was that?
We don't know what it was. It was the magic device that allowed them to do whatever they needed to do for the show to move forward properly.
It's so
It was
weird.
a MacGuffin.
And no one explained it whatsoever.
No one explained what it was, but it made the ship go all of a sudden. Like the ship couldn't go anywhere, and it made it go exactly where it needed to go. And it was like, what just happened?
Dude, there was no explanation as to where this thing came from or what it did.
It was so weird. This is like revisiting our reviews from season 1.
I know. Sorry, we got back to this. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I don't know why we're talking about this. It's like
you and your damn drink there. It's causing it.
Look at guys, charged up at Panera Bread. Liquid meth.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
It's legal over the counter.
For now.
All right. So
Rafi, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rafi wakes up back on the La Serena. And I guess it's the La Serena, right?
I'm sorry.
Real
quick. No, yeah, she's on the La Serena. But real quick.
Didn't the La Serena become the Borg ship at the end of season 2? Did they go back and there was another La Serena?
Wait, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they came back. There was still another La Serena, and the Borg ship came through the time barrier from another alternate.
So that was like an alternate. Oh, God, it's so confusing. You know, it's funny. We made a video explaining the timelines. And and it was a perfect explanation, and they just shit all over it. They were like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's not do any of that. Sam is right though. Is the Borg Queen needs lithium, so she starts.
Don't go there.
So she starts eating car batteries.
We had a whole episode about this
because the writers do not know that there's a difference between a lithium battery and a car battery.
Oh my God, I don't want to relive that again. God, that was terrible.
Imagine that, bro. They couldn't even Google search.
Dripping the skin, the human skin.
What's in a lead acid battery?
Come on, dog.
Okay, so she wakes up. There's opera playing, and there's this, and she thinks she's being intruded on.
Yes, Les Troyans Opera 29.
You know, it's crazy. Somehow, even this season, makes the La Serena look a little cooler. Maybe it's the color of the lights or something.
That is the only identifying piece of the La Serena to me. Like when I see that, that's where the Borg Queen was. This is this area. Yeah. And of course, we have
Shane.
We have an intruder. She thinks there's an intruder.
I have one of those panels.
What?
Our mutual friend, not Terry, the one of the guys that we talked about. He's giving me one of these panels.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him that I was going to get it for you, but he can drop it off.
Thanks, man.
One day you will get it, but I'm going to use it first.
That's fine. You put it up and do what you got to do. Yeah, because the La Serena. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so what's interesting here is, of course, Worf is the one who got her last time, and she thinks it's an intruder, right? And so she's like, pulls a phaser on him basically. And I love this because Worf just like he's sitting here doing the Makbara, right?
Say it. Yeah. By the way, I in the script we wrote earlier today, I put the most wild version of that in there for
you. I knew you would. I read it like 3 or 4 times because I'm like, I don't know, should I say it like a Klingon or should I just say it regular?
Yeah, I put the one like Makbara.
Makbara. It's a Klingon martial arts exercise that Worf does.
It's like Klingon yoga.
I guess. Yeah. You know how martial arts, they're like doing their like warm up stuff. So anyways, he basically takes the phaser from her like it's nothing, as Worf should do. And
then offers her tea.
Funny. Yeah, so that was funny because he we get the introduction of Worf finally. Like he lists all of his accomplishments. He's like, son of Mog, he does the whole like house, he does the whole thing, right? Yeah. And then he says, would you like some chamomile tea? And do you take sugar?
Yeah, it's great.
And you're like, wait a second. It looks like our Worf, but what the heck's going on?
Because the whole time you're all getting all hyped up, you're like, yeah, that's Worf. And he's like, would you like some chamomile tea?
Yeah. And you're like, really? Wait a second.
That's great. Yeah, so by the way, big upvotes here. Worf, fantastic. I have 0 complaints.
Love seeing him. Upvote for me too, please.
Awesome. So badassery. Like everything he did was great. He was just really awesome. He looks great. His acting is great. All the lines that we're going to get into, he's such a badass. He's awesome. He's awesome.
I love Worf this season.
Yeah, he's great. I'm trying to create like some art with him, and Klingons are difficult to draw, dude, because they don't follow any of the standards.
Yeah. So now that Worf, before we go to this part, he's basically trying to get rid of her actually. Mm-hmm. And she won't let him. She's like, no, I'm going with you. So he tells her this like huge plan that gets her all motivated, right? Mm-hmm. And about them going and kicking butt and figuring out who all this is. So it was a cool scene to like get him pumped, and you can see like, there's going to definitely be some sort of a mentor relationship happening here.
Right.
What was that?
All right.
Did something break?
So yeah, there is a mentorship, and you know what? This is what Rafi needs.
Oh yeah, no, we all needed it, not just Rafi.
No, but let me be clear. I'm not talking about just her character, like the character. I'm talking about the character in the show. Like what the character needs is someone who she respects, that we respect, that is going to tell her what the audience has been saying for the last 2 seasons.
Right. And she says something here that I think is important. Basically, I've taken stuff from bigger legends than you, or something like that. Right. And I think she's, right now she's like, oh, you're the great Worf, but yet, she's not quite convinced. I think it's going to happen as we go along here.
Yeah. Yeah. But when she does respect, when she falls into that respect, I believe that's going to be what redeems her character. Look at that handsome. Oh God, such a good. I love
Klingon daddy.
He's a Klingon daddy. He's a caddy. All right. So they got to go find this guy, Titus Ricca. Titus Ricca, I guess, is in connection with the stolen stuff from Daystrom.
Well, he knows who stole it. Worf has found out.
Right. when they torture him, she's like, I'm going to rip your fingernails off. He goes, listen, no one's going to rip your fingernails off.
Wait, we haven't got there yet.
I know. Sorry. It was really funny, though.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're back on the Titan.
It begins.
And it begins. Yeah. So this is important. Like they're arguing over strategy. Mm-hmm. What does Picard want to do? Picard wants to sneak up behind,
he wants to fight.
He wants to gank Vadic. And,
gank. A prison term, seldomly used. Gank.
It's a video game term, dude. Jesus.
No, it's a prison term.
I don't know what you're talking about. In video games, ganking means like to sneak up and knife.
Yeah, it came from prison. Like you make a shiv and then you gank them.
Sorry, bro. I haven't been to prison. Okay. I play video games. I'm a nerd.
Well, they got it from prison.
And Riker's like, no. we need to get out of here. That
We need
chick
to
is
run.
that chick is crazy.
She's gonna kill us all.
Hey, John-Luc, have you seen this chick? She's eating her cigarettes while she's taunting us with a ship
Right.
bigger than ours. They're in every way they're outmanned, they're outgunned, and the person that's chasing them is clearly nuts.
Yeah,
Look.
not in her right mind.
I love Picard and his 100 years of wisdom here, but he is totally wrong.
Well, I'm actually on Picard's side here.
How is that? How can they possibly handle this person?
Star Trek is known about finding a way to take them out. It's about, even when the odds are totally against you, you devise a plan to trick them, to fool them. That's what Kirk does. That's what Picard does. But is that what Riker does? Because really, this is the first time we're seeing him in true command of a ship.
And that's why I'm digging Riker, because he's like, look, we got to get out of here. We got to regroup. We got to rethink our strategy. I don't know. I like the conservative approach. It makes sense. Like you are safeguarding the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people on that ship.
But you got to ask this question, and hopefully everybody's asking this question, is I wonder why he would do this, because this isn't the Riker that this is not how we would expect Riker to command a ship. So,
but Riker now has kids and a wife.
Okay, I wasn't going to go there, but okay.
It is though. It's not the same Riker.
Well, Riker's had kids for a long time now. So, and he was the captain of the Titan during that whole time. So I'm just saying, like, you're right. That does play into what's happening here, as you suggest, but it's not obvious yet. But their lives are what's determining their philosophy right now and how they should deal with the situation.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Either way, it's going to be fun fireworks. All right, so Jack is down in the sick bay. He's going to go. He's trying to help out. And Captain Shaw, he's not doing good. He got some internal bleeding, multiple lacerations and broken bones and fractured femurs and all that stuff, right?
Now Beverly gets her comeuppance right here, because you see who's taking care of him, and she don't know. Hey, the monitors aren't showing that he's got internal bleeding. Well, he does, and it's great because now we see that obviously this person was wrong.
Yeah, putting all your trust into computers and having less knowledge than the 100-year-old person who's been a doctor for longer than you've been alive. I'm just saying, maybe you should consider that.
Good call. I think she learned her lesson here.
Yeah, but did the Trill learn his lesson? That's the question.
The symbiote, yeah.
Or symbiote.
Yeah.
All right. I'm always confused by that race. I'm not going to lie.
It's a weird phrase.
I keep thinking about Stargate every time I see them. I'm like, oh, no, symbiote, bad symbiote.
With gold. Oh, goodness.
The ghoul. I went waiting for the Trill's eyes to start glowing. All right. So Jack goes to help Shaw, and Shaw says something. How is she finding us?
Right.
Hey, that's a great question.
It is. Yeah. And you know what? Nobody else has thought about it. So that just shows you that Shaw is like, he's a good captain. He's got, he's good at what he does. He's the one who figured it out.
Yeah. Now Jack, hearing what he says, looks around, sees blood on the floor, and goes, and takes off to go to the bridge.
Yeah, I've got enough vote for Shaw on that. I love seeing my captains.
Yeah, I'm gonna upvote it too. I love Shaw so much. Now back on the bridge, they're arguing once again about stuff.
Oh well, this is the announcement. I believe this is the announcement of the gravity well.
Oh yeah, if they go too far into the nebula, they'll get stuck in the gravity well and they won't be able to get out.
And they also learned that this is not a normal nebula. It's something Starfleet's never run into before, and they can't go all the way through it.
Yeah. It's like it has organic an organic aspect to the nebula, which is wild.
So it must be like a living entity, I'm guessing.
That's super cool. Dude, for a minute there I was like, oh, maybe it's like the crystalline entity or something like that,
They'd all be dead by now.
Well, maybe it's a benevolent version,
Really?
I mean, you're right, but like I'm still pissed that we didn't get a freaking conclusion to the crystalline entity things. Like,
I mean,
or the space whales, or like, there's so many like really cool concepts that these
that's
shows
why.
touched on and never go back to.
Well, we got things in the future of Star Trek that we can revisit and learn more about properly and not ruin like they did with Gary Seven in season
Well,
2.
instead of doing that, though, I say we invent a new species, have it throw a tantrum, and then they could burn all the dilithium in the universe.
No, we don't want more Discovery stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
Instead of the rich history of untapped, fascinating ideas and concepts already existing.
So I'm actually have a downvote here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So this scene was pointless, and I know that I said that nothing that they made is pointless. They made this. I do believe this is a boo boo. So Jack goes to the bridge because he wants to go and say what he's thought or whatever he's figured out, and the security guy goes, "We're under red alert. Go away." And he just turns around and leaves. And so I'm like, did we need to see this?
Well, yes. I would argue we did.
Okay. Tell me why.
Because this is a military vessel. There's a hierarchy. There are rules.
Sure.
Right? We need to see those rules in action. And if you want him to approach 7, utilize the rules that should already exist. Mm-hmm. The random guy that came on the ship should not just have automatic access to the bridge.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, I mean, I love that this rule exists, but actually playing it forward where he approaches the bridge and gets turned away, nothing really happens here. It would have been easier if he would have like run up to a corridor and there was something like, he could tell quickly that he shouldn't be there, like some way of showing that. Then he diverts to 7.
But I think this was showing
up in the conversation with security guy. It just feels like it was maybe a little bit too.
See, I think this was showing though. He was showing his ability to hold back. It was showing his ability to control himself. Because later on, literally right after this, he punches a security guard in the face that denies him access a second time.
That's fair. I guess if you add it into that moment. But I will say, this was a moment where I'm like, well, it doesn't bother me that it was there, but I felt like it was unnecessary to moving the story forward. I don't feel like Jack's an uncontrollable character. So when he does hit that security guard, it's really because, well, we'll get to it, I guess, in a second.
Plus, he's validated by 7. So we want him to go talk to 7. He has no connection to 7. Remember, we do, but he doesn't.
No, you're right. No, I get that. Like I guess he needed a reason to go from the bridge to her, which makes sense. I guess looking at it, it took a long time to create that situation where he had to go to 7.
Yeah. So for me though, like Yorkshire, bridge is off limits to civvies right away. So we want to get him to 7 so that these characters interact. Utilize the rules that already exist. That's why. And it shows he's reserved, and then it shows when it's warranted, right? He can.
I don't need that in this character. I don't think he's an out of control character, so I don't need to see that. Do you think he's an out of control character?
I think that he's young and impetuous, and he controlled himself. So here's the deal: when he wanted to get on the bridge to explain what was going on, he didn't have to react violently because he knew of another way. Go find 7, right? She's in her quarters. But then when the security guard tries to stop 7 and him from getting out, the only way forward right then is violence.
No, I understand. I don't see the character as being like a violent. They need to show us that he can control his temper.
No, it's more like I think you're showing that he's calculating. Not like he's not that he's not violent. Like he's more like he's calculating. He's choosing his actions. He's calculated.
All right. I would just argue that this scene took longer than I feel like it should to really be pretty pointless. Okay. So, that's my take on it. So,
well,
I mean, it doesn't take me out of the show at all. It just, listen, this show is so good. I got so many upvotes. There's very few moments. This is like a very minor criticism. Yeah. It's not like a big,
for me though, I actually actively liked it because I thought it would show strategy and it was a clever way of getting him to 7.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I'm having a heart attack because my freaking arm is numb right now. Is it the
Yeah,
left
I
arm?
wouldn't drink any more of that
Is
stuff.
it the left arm or the right arm that you should be worried
It's the
about?
left arm.
Oh, thank God. This is my right arm. Whew, we're good.
You're okay.
We're good.
Oh, keep drinking more.
If
Good
half
idea.
my face goes numb like that, just warn me in the chat, okay?
Yeah, that's your normal look.
I look like a half changeling. All right. Yeah, the Shrike is still coming after him. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so I believe they've already turned around. So when the thing happened earlier, he turned around and said, "Head back and get us out of this nebula." Right?
Mhm.
And so they were leaving, but of course the Shrike gets up on him.
Right. Get us out of this nebula. I'm in charge, right? And oh yeah, this is the moment.
Okay, so we learn what the weapon is.
Mhm.
There it is. In the main weapon space is the portal weapon that we saw destroy the Starfleet recruitment center on that planet. And this is really cool. What happens here?
Yeah, I wonder why it's called a portal weapon.
It literally goes in one portal and to the place where you want it to go next.
Yeah, but listen, not a criticism. I love this weapon. I love this concept. I love that it was added to Star Trek. But it is a video game. It's a very, very popular
originally video game. Yes, but there's like not just the portal game, but there was versions of this from way before that even.
But even the colors are the same. Like the portal they're going into is one color. The portal they're going out of is they're following the same color coordination as the game, which makes sense. I'm not criticizing it. It's super cool, but I get a lot of portal vibes from this.
It is. I mean, it literally is called a portal weapon. Okay. So yeah. So upvote for me.
But I'm surprised that no one, like when I saw like the Easter egg videos, no one even talked about it.
It's because it's not just from that one game. Like it's used in everything. Like you know how many times the idea of a portal opening in one spot and taking you to another spot. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like they just took advantage of it and made a game about it, but they don't own the idea.
I guess Mario Brothers did it first, right? With the pipes. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. But what's cool about it, and the reason why I want to upvote this, is because if you stop right there, you see, right? And if you can give me the upvote, they're going through the portal, but coming out from another direction, which is right in the loving embrace of the Shrike.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you literally see the butt end of the ship in the ingoing portal and the head coming out the other end, and the Shrike's is sitting there. Hey, boss.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And so they do it, and then they try to run again and just keep doing it over and over. And we learn they can't get away from the Shrike because of this weapon. I
wonder if this weapon is only effective against these larger ships. Like it wouldn't be effective against like a more maneuverable ship per se.
I mean, I guess if you shot it in front of them.
Yeah, but the weapon seems like it was a little slow paced. But I understand you can't maneuver the size of that starship fast enough to get out of the way. But what if it was like the Delta Flyer? You know, they're not going to fall into that trap.
Maybe they can make the portal open smaller.
And then if it was smaller, then it'd be faster. Then they probably couldn't be avoided. Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably.
All right.
It's only useful in the sense where it doesn't really deal damage. It just causes confusion, and you really got to think your tactics way in advance when you're dealing with portal stuff.
Chaos. Usually you can't. You're like they're like a bug in a spider web. You know. Super cool graphics. By the way, the graphics are absolutely like. And knowing what we know about how broke everyone is, I'm blown away at how well put together this is.
We need to give a special upvote to Dave Blass, Michael Akuda, the whole effects team. They did so much here. You know, the one thing that there's so much love put into the creation of the graphics for this show this season. I mean, they brought back guys from TOS era to do it's just beautifully done, really well done.
Yeah, literally everything is beautiful. Like if you guys heard me a couple weeks ago, like absolutely ripping the arc to pieces, it deserved it. For me right now, the opposite of that is this, because these look like practical models, dude. They look like someone took the time to create these environments and shoot them properly. It's beautiful.
It's great.
All right. All right. Now we're back on Metalis Prime. Metalis is where Worf and Raffi are. Guess what? They're going to go hunt down this guy. This guy that might know who took the Daystrom weapon, right?
Yes.
Some of their banter back and forth is actually pretty clever. So
it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It shows that maybe she's not giving Worf all the credit he deserves, and he puts her in a place really quickly, but like in a kind way. It's really good. I love how he's just sitting there and being inconspicuous. Like he's like that's like his like casual outfit.
Yeah, there's nothing inconspicuous about that.
No, he looks so dangerous, bro.
There's an angry old Klingon in the corner. Everybody see that? Yeah.
With a giant sword. It's really hard to miss.
The Kurleth.
Like, she's trying to blend in. And he's just sitting there. This is my blend in clothes.
This is what I look like when I blend in.
Of course, Metalis Prime is like constant, nonstop partying. All right,
they shot that. Did we mention it already? I'm not sure. They shot it in Santa Clarita. It was. I'm gonna tell you, they just didn't have a lot of money for this stuff. They shot it in Santa Clarita at this kind of outdoor Middle Eastern like market area.
Really?
And they basically they dressed it up, shot it at night, lit it up, and then that's why you get this kind of party look. I mean, I'll tell you, some people were complaining, well, why are they always on Metalis Prime for everything? Blah blah blah. Because they don't have a lot of money to go shoot on location and do different things. That's why. So they did a lot with a little. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Their budget was not. Discovery has a much higher budget.
Yeah,
which is a
Picard season 1 had a much higher budget.
Yeah,
Picard season 1 had $10 million an episode budget. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, $10 million an episode. Yeah. What a travesty. And at least 4 of the episodes of Picard season 1 were totally unrequired to tell the story.
Dude, could you imagine if this season had 10 times the amount of money per episode?
Well,
can you imagine who would have come back, what we would have had?
What did they spend $10 million an episode on in season 1? What the F did they spend that money on?
They wasted a lot of it. They reshot a lot of stuff.
Oh, God, it's so stupid.
A lot of waste.
All right. Back on the Titan.
Oh, yeah. He finds her.
And he's like, listen, remember your old Fenris Ranger days? Remember that trick?
Blood in the water.
Blood in the water. Yes. So you want to explain that?
I mean, I didn't really understand it, but I mean, I kind of got it. I guess they had something they call blood in the water where it gave them the ability to like understand how to track somebody. I didn't quite grab it.
So they're tagging a ship with the shielding that protects the warp coils.
Yeah.
They tag
that
with
part,
that.
yeah.
And that's what allows them to track them because it's such a radioactive material.
Right. I thought you were going to explain blood in the water, but I guess it would be like if you shot a game animal and they were bleeding and you were following their trail.
Right. Well, but I think that's the Fenris Rangers trick I think they're using the same trick that the Fenris Rangers use.
So that's how she came up with this. They're tracking the Verterium.
Right, because that's the only mineral, whatever, that's radioactive enough for them to be able to track the nebula.
Okay, so that's how Seven knew about it. I mean, it made sense, and I thought it was really good Star Trek. I love that they that we have a new word for something that sounded very Star. So upvote that for me because I definitely the more Star Trek the better.
I'll vote that.
Theories about how things work. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, then the guard's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, you cannot come through here." And Jack, all drunk and violent, just punches him in the face. No, I'm kidding.
Drunk and violent.
No, I'm kidding. No, but like I honestly don't see another way out here. I think he's logical. I think he's strategic, and the fastest way to get there and possibly save lives is just to knock this guy out. And that's what he does.
Well, and I love that Seven didn't do it because she doesn't want to hurt her own crew member.
Right.
So that they thought about this appropriately. If Seven like jacks up, it never went over well when one of the officers had to disable a crew member. It happened on previous episodes before.
Like when Michael Burnham just beat the crap out of Tilly.
She never did that, but sometimes Kirk would get locked up and
I was
he'd have
really
to,
hoping she would.
It's happened in the past, and it never feels good. So it was nice that Jack did it, and
Yeah, I mean, she's got to work with him afterwards, right? So.
Oh, and how about this crazy idea? Jack saving Seven. Seven's not saving Jack, and that would have been fine if Seven saved Jack.
Well, completely fine.
It's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that the Supergirl doesn't have to always be there,
right?
Got a little equal opportunity heroics here.
And she kind of gave him a look like, oh, all right, nice,
okay, cool.
He got the 7 of 9 approval.
I'm definitely sleeping with this guy later on for sure.
Oh, Jesus, he's like half her age. I don't know.
And jeez.
Listen, that's all your business.
Hashtag green grannies, baby. Hashtag green grannies all day long. Give me an older Orion lady all day long.
People who have not watched the show before are very confused right now. You can stop.
There's an ongoing joke if you've just got here.
I better explain myself.
I'm into older ladies, and I'm really into green chicks. So hashtag green grannies.
There you go.
I do legitimately like older women.
Okay, moving on.
I'm just saying.
No, really, I'm serious. I really like.
I really do.
Keep going, please.
No, so I like that they put the mask on too. I don't remember ever seeing a mask in Star Trek. Do you?
I mean, I don't know.
I can't think of a single time where they put a gas mask on. Not a single time.
I just love that they don't have to put a thing over their face and it just sticks to their. I mean, that's what a futuristic thing should be able to do.
Dude, Spock needed one of those things in Star Trek too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well.
All right. You will forever be my friend. Remember?
He needed more than a mask, dude. He was irradiated.
Yeah, it was irradiated. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was you need a whole bodysuit to protect him.
Right.
It would have melted the suit. I'm sorry, never mind.
So they're trying to find the mineral. What is it called? Deuterium? Deuterium, right?
It's no, it's verterium.
Oh, geez. Well,
I had to listen to it about 15 times to get it right.
Another memory alpha entry, I'm sure. Verterium. Yeah, they're trying to track it down. And that's important because that's how they're being tracked by the strike. Because the verterium.
Yes. And I believe Jack was the one saying they must have a leak. And I believe that's where they said, well, they kind of thought they might have a saboteur, but this confirms it.
We have a saboteur.
We have a saboteur.
Just so you guys know, I have a speech impediment, so don't get mad at me when I mispronounce super long made up words.
Okay.
Because I'm just sensing the comments right now.
Because that would just be wrong.
It's
right?
a verterium, dummy. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry, dude.
Are you trying to shame people who make fun of you because you have a speech impediment?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually trying to. I'm trying to get ahead of the comments.
Yeah, don't feel bad. You can make fun of him anyways. Yeah.
I guess you can.
We don't care.
No one cares, man. All right. Now, creepy guy, whatever his name is.
He played creepy guy very well, by the way.
He did.
He's very convincing as creepy guy. Oh yeah, look at him. Oh yeah, creepy.
I'm putting them on the thumbnail, dude.
Creepy Twitter guy.
All right. Poor actor's what is your problem, man?
Who was in Fast and the Furious 1, and I had no idea. Okay.
So he comes in and with near superhuman strength, just beats the crap out of Jack.
You knew something was wrong as soon as he lifts him into the air and throws him 5 feet.
Yeah, he had no issue with just dispatching of Jack immediately.
Right.
And Jack's messed up. He got hurt.
Dude, he Spock punched him in the stomach or something. It was not good.
Yeah. Back on Metalis, I guess. They captured their guy, right?
Wait. Whoa. Did we pass the scene where he punches him in the face, right?
Apparently we did. When he body slams him into the table?
No. We missed that part, but I'm talking about when
that's
Jack
right.
punches this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Right. Ready? I'm gonna show it. Ready?
Yep.
Oh,
There it is. Okay.
Changeling time.
But here's what's funny. Like, you may not think the first thing you think is changeling. Like, you might see that and go, I'm not sure what's happening.
Maybe this should have made his face look like Odo temporarily or something.
Well, I mean, no, I like the fact that they don't give it away in this shot necessarily.
Right.
You don't immediately scream changeling necessarily. I mean, that's weird. Your face should not change. And the first thing you might think is changeling, but it isn't until the next scene where it gets confirmed for us.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You're right. I do feel like a lack of the Odo looking people.
Well, they're not supposed to yet. They look like humans right now.
I know, but we never see any of them looking like Odo, right? That's sort of
I'm
a
not
bummer.
sure what you want me to say.
Like these two changelings, when they change, they either go from their human form to their liquid form.
Right.
Odo can change into something, but he had to change back into himself at some point.
Well, yeah, but Odo's back into himself was basically liquid form. Like the form he chose was what we saw of Odo. And I know.
Well, yeah. If he chose that form and he didn't know his people in DS9 and they all had the same form.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
So
But
I'm assuming that's what like when they're solid, when they choose to be solid, that must be what they look like.
That's what DS9 made us believe. But what I'm saying is anyways, I think we should just move on because you're right. All we see is human and moving of flesh in this episode. That's the best I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. You're right. I mean, I can only comment on this one episode. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right. Because, well, we only see humans. And, I mean, obviously, we don't see the founders in this episode. Right?
Right. Yeah.
You see changelings pretending to be humans.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. This guy's... They think that he is coming down off of a drug.
Yes, they think he's on drugs.
Right. So she thinks he has like the bends. What's it called when you have like the shakes?
He's going through withdrawals.
Yeah, he's like, yo man, you got any Panera meth juice, bro?
Right.
And she threatens to like cut his fingers off or something.
Right. Oh, we did miss a conversation that we should probably mention.
Which one?
Picard, before when we skip through that, Picard wants to use the fact that they know what's going on the show. Oh, no, that's not yet. Go ahead.
No, that hasn't happened yet, yeah.
You're right.
And Worf comes in as the good cop. He's like, what does he call her? It's not Rafi. He calls her like Raphaelia or something like that.
Rafaela, yeah.
Raphaelia. Like somehow... Every time Worf interacts with Raffi, he makes the character better.
Because he turns her into a child.
Even her name
Rafaela.
is better. Raphaela.
Well, he's taking her and turning her into a child. He's taking away her power, right, and supplanting it and turning her into a little kid. So every time he addresses her, he's basically shaking her down. And by changing her name, I mean, think about it. If your name is like John,
right,
and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Come over here, Johnny." It's like saying I'm demoting you from being an adult to now until you learn and behave properly, you are now a child.
Excuse me, Shawnee. Listen.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's some mind games that I'm gonna have to experiment with. I never considered that. Just the act of changing one's name without their consent is like such an alpha move. Like
it really is. Yeah. And look how he said,
you are now Shawnee.
Right. That doesn't sound like a child's name though. You'd have to call him. I don't really have a child's name.
Right.
My name is like
adult. Your name is you were born 70.
Right.
My name is a child's name. So it's funny. You're like the epitome of a 50-year-old cowboy with nothing but grit. I'm like the epitome of like a spoiled child with a lollipop.
Well, here's what you do for you. Okay, your name's Brian, right?
Right.
And be like, Brian, be like this. Listen, Bry.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't like that.
That's the one where because that like de-ages you.
That
right?
gives me the chilly willies. I don't like that at all. Don't call me Bry. Oh, I hate
that's
that.
how Rafaela is feeling right now because Worf is about to dress her down. And I love this. He's interrogating the bad guy while by basically demeaning her.
Right. Well, I think he's trying to teach her. I don't think he's trying to demean her. I think he's trying to teach her a lesson during the interrogation.
The demeaning is part of the lesson.
Right, but it is part of the lesson.
Right.
He's like, Rafaeli, I'm sorry.
You were once like me.
I'm sorry. We aren't going to cut your fingernails off.
She's like, get off of me. I'm trying to get him to talk.
Yeah, and this is the part where he's like, I used to be like her, violent, ignorant,
and awful,
horrible,
impetuous.
and awful, very stupid,
dumb.
I used to be very dumb. People didn't like me. She's like, yo, what the
Okay, can we get back to what we're doing here?
Like, what's your problem? I used to be very ugly. I didn't know how to handle my skincare regimen. I also used to smell. She's like, what the F, Worf?
They're trying to find out who broke into Daystrom.
This actor looks familiar, dude. I think he does a pretty good job here.
Yeah, his acting was good.
Yeah. I remember when we saw this in the trailer, I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like,
oh yeah, I remember.
Because it seems like he's important because Worf is like talking to him, but really he's just a conduit for what he wants to tell Raffi or Rafaela, whatever. Is genius.
Well, he's got an important kind of looking face too.
He
looks
does.
like he should be. Looks like he should be doing something.
I think
that's how you end up being an actor. I think.
Yeah, I think he's an actual actor. What if he's like a buddy of Terry's? He's like in a bunch of stuff.
Probably. I should have looked it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. All right. Yeah. So he just dresses her down, and she's like, and then she still says like, "All right, we're still gonna cut your fingernails off." It's great. All right, we're back on the Titan as they're interrogating whatever his name is. Who cares? Tika. Why? Wally.
The human guy. Yeah.
Human guy. Let's call him Bry.
Who knows something about Star? Yeah. Call him what?
Let's call him Bry.
Bry. So yeah, they're interrogating Bry. I like that.
Back on Titan, Jack is having visions. Now this is like, we're gonna be clear. Like, this isn't random. This is important, right? Why else would we?
Everything they do, other than going to the door at the bridge, is important.
F you. I thought that was important. So he looks up. He's seeing like 7. There's like red vines or something like that or whatever. And he's having like a weird vision because he got knocked in the head too hard or something, right?
And you hear Vadic's voice, I believe.
Right. You hear Vadic calling. And then there's like this red door. What is this red door about, Shane?
Yeah, so I don't know, but gosh, I got to tell you, this to me is very 12 Monkeys-ish.
Oh yeah, this is super 12
right?
Monkeys. Yeah,
very 12 Monkeys-ish. So this is what Terry knows how it does. He creates some intrigue through some visualization, and he likes the color red. So I don't know. We don't know what's going on yet, but we know this is the first sign that something's not right. Something's weird.
God, Jerry Ryan is so beautiful. It's crazy. Like, I'm like,
so random.
She's so pretty. It's crazy, bro. I want to see the red door, and let me just play it for a second.
If we get to interview her, please don't tell her she's beautiful.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be there. I will not represent us in the best light.
Her manager's going to be like, "You guys leave."
I'm just being honest, and I don't want to get canceled for meeting a celebrity. But like, I've had a crush on Jerry Ryan since I was like.
So Jerry, how do you feel about green paint?
Effing 12, like for real, like since I was like 12, dude. That's been like a long time. So Like, if so, we might actually get to interview Jerry Ryan. We're talking to our manager right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about it.
I'll protect her from you.
Here's the deal: I don't fangirl or fanboy about anything. Like, I really don't care. I'm like, my superpower and my weakness is I'm apathetic. Like, I just really don't care. Like we're gonna get along because I don't care. Like, I don't care as long as you're not affecting me in any way. I have no interest in whatever, right?
I think you're the first person I've ever heard that said their superpower is apathy.
Yeah, no, but well, it's a super weakness and a superpower. Like, if I cared more about most of this crap, then maybe I'd be a better podcaster. Maybe more people would watch our show. You know what I mean? But because I just don't really care about actors, like Todd Stashwick is a super nice guy, but like, I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to meet Todd Stashwick. I'm like, yeah, Todd Stashwick is cool. He's a good actor. I wasn't like fanboying about it. I was like, whatever.
Well, no, you need somebody who you grew up with as a kid to fanboy.
And that's what I'm really saying, honestly, though. Like, the only person I've ever, there's only a handful of people, and Jerry Ryan's on that list.
Well, you were a kid when you liked her, so it makes sense. Listen, if I ever met William Shatner in person, which I have not done, I'd be a little fanboyish about it.
Wait, we did meet him.
We saw him. We didn't talk to him.
We didn't talk to him, though. You're right.
Yeah.
At STLV, though, right?
Yeah.
I also got to shake Christopher Pike's hand. No, whatever. What's his name?
No, Ethan Peck.
No. I didn't get to shake Ethan Peck's hand.
That's right. No, he decided he didn't.
No,
want to talk.
what's Pike's name again? Damn, he has a weird name. He's like a super daddy. He has a daddy name. What's Christopher Pike's? What's the actor's name that plays Christopher Pike? Anson Mount.
Anson Mount.
So I got to shake
like
Anson
Poppy from Happy Days.
I got to shake his hand. He's super nice, like really nice, friendly, and just charming. It's crazy, bro. I get it. I get the appeal. I was really interested in meeting Ethan Peck, and he was an absolute dick. I couldn't even get 5 feet from the dude. So, I don't know. I'm just over actors, man.
Yeah, I get it. They're just people. But, at the same time, it's okay to be a little fanboyish sometimes.
Yeah. I would like to meet Patrick Stewart, too. I don't think that would ever happen, but.
We saw him.
We did see him, but we couldn't get close enough to actually meet him, man. That was a bummer. All right, so Jack is hurt.
This is the moment, guys.
Explain this. You're going to do it better because I don't want to mess it up.
No. So this is the moment. Picard's on the bridge arguing with Riker still, and he gets the call that Jack is injured, hurt badly, and we need you to come to sickbay right away.
17 minutes.
So 17 seconds. So Picard now gets his 17 seconds, just like Riker did when Thaddeus was born and had trouble. And so in this moment, we see Picard becoming a parent, basically.
Right.
And that was the whole point of what happened in this episode earlier. You can see the torment on his face. This guy doesn't get emotional about stuff, guys. We've known him for a long, long time, and there's not a ton of things that bother him. But we're having a moment here where he's internalizing, and he does it well because he doesn't start sobbing. See, Picard seasons 1 and 2, you probably would have been super emotional.
Right.
In this season, he's trying to hold it together, and you can see that on his face.
He would have been writing in his diary.
Right. Yeah. And now he's internalizing it just as the Picard we know would do, but you can see just through his acting, no words, that he's struggling with the fear of what could be for his son. And of course he gets down there and Beverly's trying to shock him back to life. So he was right to be worried.
Oh, and this scene was actually great. Like the way she was like, it was great. Good scene. Gaze McFadden, man. Best acting I've seen from her in a long time.
She blew it away, man. She did a good job.
Yeah.
She really did a good job to show.
Her facial movements, like her emotion, like even like her micro expressions, just really on point, dude. I'm like really impressed. Oh man, so good. All right. I'm giving it an upvote. This scene was awesome. And, it's a callback to the scene we already saw, which is why we need
too. Yeah, give it to me too, because I love the artistic value of this episode. I love that they set it up with Riker's story and that Picard shares the same thing. And let me tell you guys something. If you notice, this whole relationship with Picard and Riker is central to this season. So the fact that, Riker had something happen to him, Picard had something to happen to him, and now they're having this struggle on how to handle the situation. It all plays into a bigger story. So it's really well done. Very nicely done.
Yep. And he pulls through, and you can see the relief on Picard's face.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, and this is, yeah. So we got to see. We don't really get to see any interaction between the two yet. That will come in future episodes. But the question is, did he become a parent, or I think we were joking, is he going to continue to be a deadbeat dad? So,
right, yeah, this is great. This is when he realizes that he cares for the kid, even though he just met him.
Yeah.
Or, he's an adult, whatever, you know what I mean? All right, back on Metalis, Rafi is still taking the fingernails off this guy. Right. Really upset about it. There's a moment where Worf's like, nothing bad's going to happen to you. It's like, no, something bad's going to happen to you. It's great. So it was more than, they start to realize there's something more going on here than just the shakes, right?
Right.
And I love this. Rafi didn't put it together.
Yeah, of course not.
Of course not. But in previous episodes, it would have been Rafi that put the pieces together. It wouldn't have been Worf.
You are right. If you guys are wondering what's different about this season of Star Trek, the right characters are doing the right things at the right times. It's not forced. It doesn't feel fake because the wrong person is doing it because, wow, right. We got to have, we got to, do this socially aware thing. And, it's the right characters are in charge. That's it.
And of course, Worf knows what a changeling looks like. He spent a lot of time with Odo.
You bet he knows.
He knows
the whole DS9 series.
Right. So that was really a smart play. I love that. Oh man, what a Klingon daddy he is, man.
And I love how Worf asks him, how long have you been separated from the Great Link? So of course we learned in Deep Space Nine that the Great Link was an intermingling of many changelings in their natural form. And because that's their natural existence. And the last we saw of changelings before this show is Odo, right? A fan favorite and a changeling from Deep Space Nine had cured the Great Link of a disease, right? That's the last we know of what happened. And yeah, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I call the Great Link the goo orgy.
That's fair. Yeah. That's actually sounds realistic.
Yeah. Goo orgy.
Yeah.
All right. Back on the Titan. All right. So things are going off the rails a little bit for Picard and Riker.
So did they take care of this guy? No. Okay.
Yeah, they're about to. I don't know why I skipped back. Let's just go. Let's just handle this part. This is when he starts to get all goopy. Look up, goopy.
Go.
Yeah.
And it's at that moment you're like, oh dang. Now we know.
So how do you feel about the goop, man?
The what?
The goop. Their liquid form. How do you feel about it?
Like as far as the graphics?
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So I feel like this is definitely what the intention was when they made changelings, but you obviously couldn't do these kind of graphics.
Right. The graphics back in the 90s were cheap. I mean, it was like this blob kind of moving around. It was like
material. Liquid metal or something. This is like material. Yeah. This is like they're turning from a solid into a liquid. Like, so their molecules are separating. This, I feel like this is what it would look like. But
yeah, I do too. No, it made sense to me. It was a little stringy. It wasn't just one clump. It was like, yeah, no, I thought they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the thing.
Upvote it. I'll vote that art.
Yeah, I'm upvoting it too. Upvote it. Yeah, the thing about the old ones is like, I loved Odo, but if we're seeing changelings in this day and age, you expect them. They have to look different. They're not going to look like the T-800 or whatever from Terminator.
Oh, the Terminator 2. I mean, that would be even done differently. I would argue.
Yeah,
more realistic looking.
And then I think we saw a version of that, and it was like
Yeah.
nanoparticles or whatever. That was dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they should have done something differently, but even they try to update that, right? Because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense to be, you know,
Well, if you have the ability to create better graphics, you do. That's it.
right. And they figured out that the changeling planted a bomb.
So yeah, so the changeling guy connected a bomb to looks like somewhere in engineering, right?
Right. And he's about to. The ship was about to go to warp, but oh no, no more warp for you guys. No more anything.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the La Serena, this is the moment where he tells Rafi, "You and me are going to be partners."
Right, right.
But he says it much cooler because he's Worf. But yeah, that was cool. That was like, I don't know, this character needed it. Like Rafi without Worf doesn't work for me. With Worf, she starts to become this character that I actually want to see. I want to see her interact with Worf. Maybe the character just needed a partner like this the whole time. Like they needed a real partner.
Well, I mean, she needs to get to an emotionally better place, so she needs help. I mean, he's helping her. She's quick to anger, quick to frustrate. She doesn't have a lot of the characteristics you like in a human being that's a little more, that's a little more comfortable with themselves.
Right.
And that's partially why we don't like her, I think.
Right. All right. All right, and the thing explodes. Oh no.
Now it's important to note that I think now in this moment, I wanted to explain it before, but Picard had been telling Riker, we need to fight. Right?
Right.
So we need to fight. So has that happened yet where the Shrike showed up? Yeah. Because this disables him, right? Right.
Right. It disables him. Yeah.
No, it happens at the end. Never mind. He keeps telling him he wants to fight, and Riker's like, no, we're not going to. And they go back into the nebula. So back in the nebula, the explosion happens, and now.
Yeah, there's the explosion. Yep. And I think they try to fight, right?
Not yet. At the end, they do. Unless we're at the end. Are we?
Yeah, we're at the end. We're at the end.
Okay, so does he actually say it here?
Yeah, this is when he says, "You've killed us all." Right.
Yeah. So basically, Picard tells him we have to fight. It's either fight or die, and Riker gives in. He doesn't want to, but he gives in, and so the Titan fires everything it's got, right? And the Shrike just shoots the portal weapon in front of those bullets, or in front of the weapons fire, and then puts it to the back end of the Titan, and that's what ends up
the photon torpedoes, and they go through the portal, and they hit themselves.
I don't know if they were photon torpedoes, but they were something. Yeah,
I mean, they were like, so it couldn't be a phaser because phaser is energy. It had to be some kind of something physical, right?
That's true. Yeah. So they came back, and so of course Riker's angry because he didn't want to fight, and he blames Picard and says, "Get off the bridge! You've killed us all."
Right.
And that's how the episode ends. A couple of things that we should have mentioned here earlier was there was music in the beginning that was operatic, which is very reminiscent to the movie Crimson Tide. When Crimson Tide is hit by the other sub, it's sinking and going into crushed depths.
Right.
And there's the hymn is being played at that time, and it sounds very similar to the operatic music we get at the beginning of the show, which I believe was foreshadowing for what they want to do. Lots of moments of Crimson Tide here. Picard and Riker arguing back and forth like Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. Not quite with the same veracity, I think, from that movie, but still, on how to handle the situation. You had what was the other one? There was one with another character. Well, I think with Seven, right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So Gene Hackman was locked into his quarters,
right?
And so Seven was locked into her quarters, right? So it's just there were a lot of similarities here, and I thought really nice. It's a great movie. If you've never seen Crimson Tide, you should definitely watch it. And it leaves us with an interesting cliffhanger going into episode 4 of, the ship's completely disabled. The Shrike is right there. There's a gravity well that they have to deal with. And they very well are in dire situations.
How do they get out of this? How do the Hardy Boys escape the well? Yeah. Super chat from Good Tea Nice House. So far, the writing of Picard season 3 is leaps and bounds better than anything Marvel or Star Wars has put out this year. The show's Emmy worthy. Yes, I agree.
Yes, it
And
probably
thank you
will
for that.
never win it, but absolutely worthy of better than anything else put out. I loved it. And you know, going into episode 4 next week, we have so many questions. So what are our questions that we have going into the next episode? Okay. So what is okay? So we learned from this episode too. We didn't mention it. We learned, and Odo is the one who told Worf this.
Yes.
That these changelings are part of a terrorist group that broke off from the Great Link because they didn't want the war to end, the Dominion War. So this ties back to DS9. If everybody was like going, well, is there going to be any DS9 stuff in here? This storyline directly ties off of DS9. And it looks like the reason why Starfleet never addressed it was because if they did, then it would reignite the Dominion War, which they didn't want. Some other things we need to know. How will Picard, engage his new son after the experiences he's had in this episode? Why is Riker obsessed with saving the crew, and why does Picard want to fight? That's something that will play out. And most importantly, what was stolen from Daystrom that can be worse than the portal weapon?
So much. Okay, well, that is it for the review. So we're going to wrap this up. And if you're watching this clip later on, please hit the subscribe button in the way in the comment section. Let us know